Hey y'all, how you doing? I am out here in my greenhouse and honestly I didn't realize how messy it is out here because it's been a while since I've been out. But that's not the point of this video. We're having a warm, mild day. It's 61 degrees out right now. And I decided to come fill a couple of 10-20 trays with some soil and get them ready for some seed starting because I would like to start some Lisianthus seeds and a couple other things here in a day or two. I'm probably not going to get them started today, but I do want to get the soil in my trays. All right, here's a stack of trays and a stack of inserts. And I think that I'm going to just grab a couple of trays, maybe not that one. Let's see. Got a 10-20 tray without holes. That makes it easier to bottom water. I got two of them. And I think that I'm just going to fill up these little inserts here with soil. There's 35 in each of these. So it makes 72 plants. And I think I will do 2 trays worth because I have 2.5 trays worth of these inserts. So I'm going to start with the 2 trays, fill them with soil, and that'll be enough to get me started for whatever seeds I'm going to start in the next day or two, because this time of year, you're really not starting a whole lot. Let's see. I've got this bag of Pro Mix here that I'm going to be cutting open and putting in this tub. I think all of my hoary tools are inside, which is not where they need to be at the moment because I need them out here. I've got a knife though. Oh, I could have done that better. Obviously, need to cut more of the plastic off of this. See, I told you I made that harder on myself than it had to be. If I would have just cut more of it in the first place. Look how fluffy. Now that I've been out here and I see that my greenhouse is an utter mess, I definitely need to come spend some time out here and get this thing sorted and ready for whenever I need to use it this spring/winter. Right now, it's just not ready. So messy, and I mean, stuff is kind of organized, but not really. Some stuff's just been brought in and laid down. Other stuff was stacked a little more neatly. Sometimes there's some chunks left in your soil, and I just pick those out and put them in a little container, and then I'll add them to a compost bin at some point. Alright, there's one tray filled. I don't heat my greenhouse this time of year, so these seeds won't be left out here. or these trays when they're full of seeds, they'll be in my house under my lights because I usually don't turn the heat on in my greenhouse until February. Probably mid-February. Honestly, it could be a little earlier, but usually it's about the second to third week of February that I'm turning this on. So these will go under my lights. I just kind of want certain things to be a little bit bigger before I put them out this year than they were last year. So I'm going ahead and getting them started. I usually do start my Lisianthus in January. However, usually not this early in January. Usually I'm waiting more towards middle to end of January. But this year I'm wanting to get it started at the beginning of January so that way they can be a little bit bigger. Last year I got them planted late. I think it was February before I started them. And I didn't have very many seeds. It was just leftover seeds. And I had a few germinate and they were really beautiful. But I have decided I want to start them a little bit earlier this year. I'm going to take these trays in and water them. That's probably all I'm doing out here today is getting these filled. I'm going to close up my greenhouse because we're supposed to be getting a strong line of storms tonight, and it's supposed to get significantly colder with snow and ice expected tomorrow. So I probably won't be back out here for a little while, but on the next warm day where I feel like I've got the time and the energy, I'll probably come out here and start straightening this up so it is ready to go when I need it. In the meantime, I'm going to get these seeds started, and when I'm actually planting the seeds, I will bring you along. But until then, I'm just going to go put some water in these trays, and I'll probably plant them later tonight or maybe tomorrow. Whichever time I plant them, I will definitely pick up my camera and show you what I'm planting, and we can sit down and do that together. All right, I'm going to jump off here for now, and I'll see you in a few seconds. So I'm in my house right now, and I've got all my supplies around me so we can get those Lisianthus seeds started that I was talking about in the beginning of this video. It's several days later, and honestly, I've had trouble finding a place to film inside my house because I just don't have a lot of space. My house is small, and I don't have a lot of space for extra stuff, and it's too cold in my greenhouse to film. So now that I've actually got all my stuff gathered here and I've kind of cleared myself a little spot, I'm going to get these Lisianthus seeds planted with you. So this is the tray that I got, and I filled up those cells in my greenhouse, and I pre-wet them all. I like to pre-wet all my soil. Let me point you down a little bit here so you can see what I'm doing. I don't know quite where to put this. All right. So I have some tags here, and I'm just going to put Lisianthus double echo mix. Move this to the side while I write this. Yeah, this is kind of awkward. I'm just figuring it out, though. I'm going to put another one that says Lisianthus end, so I can put this tag wherever my Lisianthus stops because it's not going to fill up this whole tray. So I have my 2 tags there. Now I've got to find my seeds. And it says there's 20 seeds in here, and they're tiny. I have saved seeds from Lisianthus before, and they are like powder. That's why a lot of companies pellet their seeds. It just makes them easier to handle. I've got this lid that I'm going to put down here in case I drop any. And I'm going to start on this end since that's the end that's closest to my camera. These need light to germinate, so I'm just going to put them on top. 1 seed per cell. That could use a little bit more soil. I do have some soil over here. I do have my trusty water bottle. One's off to the side a bit. Let me scoot it back towards the middle. Doesn't have to be. It wouldn't have hurt anything if it would have stayed there. So there ended up actually being 22 seeds there. I'm going to take my little tags and I'm going to put it right here. It says Lisianthus. It's just got the type. And then I'm going to put this one right here where it says Lisianthus. I just wrote Lisianthus end. That's upside down. Lisianthus end. Because this is the last cell I've got Lisianthus in this tray, and that lets me know that the rest of my tray is free to plant other seeds. All right. And these do need light to germinate, and they are pelleted, so what I like to do is take my water bottle and give them all a really good mist to start the pellets softening up and decomposing. I don't know if that's the word I'm looking for. Softening up and basically these seeds are wrapped in a type of clay and they soften and dissipate. Now I'm going to take a little bit of vermiculite and just cover the cells that I've planted. I'm not going to cover any of the cells that don't have Lisianthus in it. This lets light through as well as helps with moisture, helps the moisture or the seeds stay moist, and it also will help with fungus gnats, which with Lisianthus I usually do have a problem with fungus gnats. I'm not going to lie about that. I think I'm going to go ahead and plant some of these violas. This is the honeybee variety that I showed in one of my last haul videos. I'm going to go ahead and start these since I've got room in this tray. But first I'm going to make a tag. These seeds are also pelleted, so that's going to be helpful. Once again, I'm just surface sowing these because they need the light to germinate, and they're very tiny. Since I have this tag in the last cell that says Lisianthus end, I'm going to put the honeybee viola in the last cell that has honeybee violas, and then I'll know that the rest of this is still free to plant. Let me give those a spray with my water bottle. And put some vermiculite over it. Also, by putting vermiculite over only the cells that are planted, which you wouldn't want to put them over the cells that aren't planted if nothing's in it yet, because you need the seed to hit the soil. It also helps me know which cells are still free, in case I would some reason forget. I could also look at this video again if I forgot though too. So I have those violas planted. The reason I'm planting violas is because they are a plant that I can plant out early, and so I can start them now and it won't be too early. Some plants, if I started now, they'd be way too big before I got a chance to put them in the ground. But violas and pansies can not only go out early, they stay small for a while, so this will give them a chance to grow before I plant them out. Well, I guess I'm done for this tray for a while, so I will put a lid on it and put it under my lights. But for now, I'm going to set it out of the way because I want to plant some leeks that I've got. I have had these leek seeds for a while, and onion and leek seeds, they lose their germination rate a lot quicker than some of the other seed varieties, onions and leeks definitely lose germination rates. And since I've had these for, I want to say this will be their second or third year, I'm going to go ahead and just plant the rest of what I've got here. This one is called Blue of Solace. Solaise. And these ones are called Alto. So I'm going to go ahead and make these tags. I've got these little 4-inch pots that I'm going to fill with soil. And then I'm just going to mass sow these seeds. And then as they get bigger, I'll pluck them out and put them into individual cells or individual pots if I have to. Let's see, direct sow doesn't have any special sowing instructions. I've got my bag of soil here. I'm just going to fill up these pots. I just put it down in the bag and fill it in the bag so that way I don't get the soil everywhere. If I were doing a lot of trays, I would just pre-fill them and bring them in. But since I'm only doing a few, or I mean, not trays, if I was filling a lot of flower pots, I would pre-fill them all. So I just have those filled with dirt. I'm going to take, where is it? I keep losing my stuff. I'm just going to spritz these down, take out any big chunks. This is the Alto leek, and I'm going to plant it first. It's got a small, I don't know if that's going to focus because of me being behind it and it wants to focus on me, but I've just got a small bag of leeks. And I'm just going to kind of sprinkle them on top of my soil, and if any of them are too close together, I'll just take my finger and spread them apart. Okay. Now, same with the Blue of Solace. Solace. I'm not sure how you would say that. And there's not a lot in here. I got these from a seed swap. That's why they're in this kind of package. And usually you don't get like an abundance of seeds in a seed swap. But I'd say there's probably about 15 or 20 seeds in here at least. Once again, just sprinkle them over the top. And if these end up needing potted up before I plant them out, that's fine. I'll do that. Oh. There's 2 in here that are being very stubborn. I might need to stick something in there and get them out. They're just kind of sticking to the bottom of the bag. The envelope. It's not a bag. There we go. And once again, I'm topping it with some vermiculite. It lets the light through and helps keep the top of your soil moist. And it does help with fungus gnats landing on it. You'll still get fungus gnats. I mean, it's not going to prevent it, but it's just a deterrent. I don't have fungus gnats yet, but I do suspect with me starting Lisianthus seeds that there's a good chance I will have them soon. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I will see you the next time I have something to plant. All right, bye.